I've been lied to about what it means to do things alone. That it's weird, scary, even sad. And while those feelings can be part of the experience, what if being alone was actually the road to something entirely different? A path to confidence and deep healing I never expected. At least that's what it became for me. I used to believe I had to wait for someone else to fill this void in me, or to share certain experiences with. It led me down this spiral of questioning my place in people's lives and whether my relationships were truly authentic or just convenient. But the moment I stopped waiting on people, opportunities, and even myself, everything changed. I started to discover what I was really capable of and experiencing a life authentic for me. Hi, I'm Clarity, and this is my journal of what happens when you stop waiting and start choosing yourself instead. It always starts from an innocent place. The desire to help, to be the peacemaker, and I loved it because I was praised for it. It made me feel safe, loved, worthy, and in control. Love had a time limit. It felt like a Mario game of jumping through different hoops and meeting different conditions, racing against the clock just to be awarded the prize of love. All I had to do was prove myself over and over again. Even if it meant bending on boundaries, suppressing my needs, compromising my emotional safety and desires. My timeline didn't matter, everyone else's did. And even when I had the opportunity to choose myself, somehow it still never felt like the right time, or I felt guilty if I did. Besides, being alone was the bane of my existence.
I just realized my driver's license has expired. She is a whole ass different person, I'm telling you. I had blonde highlights in my hair. I was out all the time, life of the party type of girl. When I reflect back on that time, even though I looked so happy on the outside, but on the inside, I was going through it. I think that was just me escaping myself, and so it came out as me very extroverted, always partying, but really I was trying to escape myself. And by escaping myself, I had to distract myself, blending in with random groups of people because I felt so uncomfortable with my own company. Wow.
What made me so terrified of being alone was the fact that I didn't know myself. What do I actually like? What do I dislike? What do I need? I kept questioning my own thoughts and feelings. I had no sense of self because my whole identity was built up around meeting the needs of others. And if I wasn't needed, who was I? Now that was a terrifying thought which ultimately shaped the relationships I had with others, in romance, friendships, and family. I was the common denominator in all these dynamics, so I understand my role in allowing these things to happen, and just perpetuated this cycle of waiting.
I'll share one extreme case where a friend would agree to meet up with me and I'd be like, sure. And then I'd meet up at the specified time. One day I sat at the train station and 4 hours passed and I waited. And although I was a bit annoyed, I just kept it in. I still kept waiting and they didn't even show up. Craziness. But that was like a pattern I had since I was little. And for me, pacifying that behavior, it showed in me what I needed to look within myself, was that I wasn't respecting my own time. So that just shows how I valued myself too. But hey, you live and you learn, right?
Patience is a virtue, a quote I've heard my whole life. Now don't get me wrong, I still believe in it, but there is a blurry line between patience and passivity that we can often get lost in when you don't really know yourself, especially if you're a recovering people pleaser. Our patience can feel like our greatest strength, but can also be our weakness in certain situations where being patient in the wrong places with the wrong people hurts. But most of all, waiting on yourself hurts the most. One thing I did a lot was not allowing myself to go out and live my life just because no one else could go with me. I missed out on many things because of that mentality, all because I was waiting for someone else to make them worth it. Until I decided to make my own plans and stick to them whether anyone could come with me or not. Instead of asking, hey, we should do this together, it became, I'm going to do this, would you like to come along? That shift changed everything because I was no longer waiting around anymore. One thing I did to ease my way into enjoying my own company is to just give myself permission to try. And on this day, I decided to enjoy a city day alone.
I think I figured out what I want to eat. It's Japanese food. It's like an old Japanese restaurant I went long time ago with my cousin, but honestly, I can't remember where it is. Guys, I actually don't know where I'm going. Yeah, this ain't it. This ain't it.
Yeah, it said outside go level 3, but I don't know why it's not working. Is this divine intervention? Y'all, I guess I'm not meant to come here today, never mind.
Okay, let me try this place.
So I made it to my first stop. Honestly, I was trying to go to the restaurant upstairs, but I think they're closed. So it is what it is. But it's so funny I came across this place because I've been trying to eat less carbs. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll check this place out. See what they have. Honestly, having no plan can be a bit stressful, but I think that's where the gems happen. You explore different places when you have no plan. The only plan I had was a $50 budget. I ordered a toasty and a pot of homemade herbal tea. I'm excited to try it out. That's grounding me so much after being in that chaos outside. This is helping me so much relax because I was feeling so anxious being around everyone. And this tea is helping me feel a lot more calm. I don't know if I should use a fork. Usually I eat with my hands. No, maybe not. Maybe I'll use a fork. I'm wearing white. I can't risk making a mess. This pairing with the tea, this feels so good. So I made it to Nana's green tea. I'm a bit full from that toast, not gonna lie, so I am going too hard. I'll probably get a cake. Y'all, this world is changing. Everything has been scanning QR codes and to pay. I'm not mad about it though. It makes life easier for all of us. You know what's good when I say it's not too sweet? I'm out here enjoying this cake by myself. Hey, today's my day. Today is my day. We don't talk enough about the art of being alone, especially when it feels like everyone else is moving in packs. On the outside, it can seem like everything is going well with a busy social life, uni, or work, but you can still feel lonely even in a room full of people, with friends, or even in your romantic relationships. Carl Jung explained why that could be the case. Loneliness does not come from having no people around you, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to you. And that resonated deeply. Loneliness can't really be fixed by distraction or just surrounding yourself with other people. What matters is meaningful connection with others and also with yourself, which is often the hardest part, especially now with the rapid growth in our technology. It's so crazy to me how much technology has changed over the years. I'm literally vlogging this on such a tiny camera, but if you look through the times, how much technology has changed from something so big and clunky to something so small. People underestimate how much changes can happen in just a few short years. I won't be surprised if one day this DJI camera will be in a place like this, in a museum. Guys, very demure, very mindful, made it to a museum. That's crazy to me. It's a different generation for sure. Exploring all the technology got me thinking about how the advancements in our tools have also bled into our relationships, especially with AI and how it is changing the way we connect with each other. First, we had dating apps, and now AI companions or AI romantic partners are accessible too, something we can use to deal with loneliness.
It's hard to know whether to be excited or frightened. Maybe a bit of both. Artificial intelligence already changing human behaviour in so many ways.
I don't know how to feel about this. I feel a bit conflicted. I can understand both sides of the coin. I can see how having an AI companion, I guess it's helping with their loneliness, but at the same time there's also that dependency. I don't know. Relationships are changing in this modern age. I don't know how to feel about it, you guys. What do you think? I can understand their loneliness, but at what cost as well? It's interesting to see how AI is really changing the modern world, modern dating, just relationships, friendships.
What do you say to people who might go, oh, this is all just a little bit strange?
It is strange, and I think one of the things about it is that people are choosing to have relationships with what essentially other people would call a machine, right? Because the machine is somehow more loving toward them than people are. And I find that terribly sad.
Humans are hardwired for connection, and while technology is great in the sense that it can provide instant comfort, it doesn't replace the depths, complexities, and even the pain of human relationships, the part that can be an opportunity for us to face ourselves, grow, and be more whole. Real connection with ourselves and others requires being vulnerable, authentic, and the willingness to face uncomfortable truths. Sadly, during this time, I hit a wall in my relationship that led me to make a big but necessary decision for myself after facing an uncomfortable truth that I just couldn't keep ignoring anymore. We got 3 full cars packed with my stuff and actually couldn't fall asleep last night. I slept like around 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. and I was feeling pretty emotional. One, because of like the relationship I just left, and this is definitely a period of just healing. I just need time alone to heal and just process everything that's happened. As soon as everything's ready, I'm just gonna be cooped up in that new place. But honestly, I think this season of my life is just a lot of inner work, because I just feel a lot of inner turmoil, I guess. I've moved out before, I've moved out with friends, I've always lived in share houses, but having my own place to myself, like that's a whole different ball game, I guess. But I'm excited. We'll see how it goes. Good morning, guys. So I decided to go on a walk today. My first time leaving the apartment, because I've spent the past few days just cooped up in my new place. And I thought, okay, I need to go out for some fresh air. And I tried to do some meditations this morning, but my mind was just so overactive and I was thinking a lot, so I decided to come out, have a breather. But today I wanted to talk about how waiting can show up in romantic relationships. I moved out to my own place and I left a 5-year relationship. I feel like this is something that a lot of girls fall for, where you can be trapped in the girlfriend zone. A lot of people that fall into these patterns tend to fall in loading zone relationships where they're just waiting. We end up waiting 5 years, 10 years, maybe even 15 years for the commitment you desire. For me personally, I wanted something more. I wanted to, take the next step in our relationship, and I guess we just weren't on the same page. And mentally, I was starting to check out, because as time went on, I started to see that my time wasn't being valued, which is funny because 5 years is a really long time. But the more I've been investing in therapy, in coaching, and my inner work, my inner healing work, the more I just started to see how things really were, how they actually were, and I started to get turned off by that. And for me, it showed as well that like some people don't mind wasting your time, and I didn't like that, just being honest. I had certain beliefs in place that were keeping me stuck in that relationship, where I thought that if I loved someone enough, if I was patient enough, they'll become the person I need. But I don't think that's really the case. I know for a fact people are capable of changing. I mean, I've changed. The fact that as time went on, I just started to see things differently. But sometimes, especially if you're a people pleaser, a recovering people pleaser like I am, we might fall into the trap of enabling, especially when, you talk about having the same vision in life, but the actions don't really reflect that. It was so hard for me to see it that way prior, because I didn't do that inner work to see what my boundaries are, what my emotional needs are. If you're a recovering people pleaser, you might resonate with this, where setting boundaries for yourself is quite scary, but actually it's one of the best things you can do. There's nothing wrong with saying no in the first place. I gained a lot by just letting go. One thing for sure is my peace and freedom. I didn't feel like I had to keep proving myself. That was definitely a game I no longer want to play anymore. I also didn't want to wait for my needs to matter. Now I'm just thinking, like, why did I feel like I have to wait for my needs to matter? I guess there was certain beliefs deep down where probably I didn't feel like I deserved it, or that I had to keep proving myself. I just had to do more, give more. We could let a lot of years pass and keep waiting. But is that really what love is? I'm confident in knowing that the right person will come in my life when the time is right. At the end of the day, everything is just a reflection. The fact that I wasn't willing to tolerate waiting anymore was a huge signifier of growth. Sometimes taking that first step is scary, but ultimately, I know looking back, I'm gonna be grateful that I made this choice.
It's raining right now. Today's weather calls for a warm, cozy dessert. I'm going to be making sticky rice balls in sweet ginger syrup because I feel like it would hit so hard right now in this weather, and watch some movies tonight. Tonight is definitely a cozy night in. Let's start making it.
Choosing to be alone over the comfort of having someone by my side wasn't really on my bingo card, especially when the future I once imagined with someone didn't turn out the way I thought it would. But chosen solitude has given me the space to really reflect on what I want, what I need, and who I need to become in order to experience it fully in my life, whether that's in love, friendships, or even the relationship I have with myself. And that's the part I'm willing to wait for. Because so often we try to force people, control outcomes, or place our sense of security and fulfillment in the hands of those we have an affinity for. I realized I'd been waiting and people-pleasing, hoping others would choose me in the way I wanted to be chosen, but it has to begin with me, by knowing who I am and building a whole, loving relationship with myself first.
Someone's awake now. Yeah?
I no longer want to bend my needs, compromise my boundaries, or shrink myself just to fit in with people who are never meant for me in the first place. Choosing yourself doesn't have to lead to loneliness. It can actually lead to a more authentic life with deeper, more aligned connections, because staying in the wrong environments out of fear only keeps you stuck, and that's the biggest lesson I learned.
They're starting to float. That means we're pretty much cooked through. I don't know if you've guys seen Clannad. Clannad After Story is one of my favorite animes of all time. And just looking at this reminds me of Dango, especially that Dango song. If you know, you know. If you want to cry, you better watch it, because that anime like ruined me from the inside out. But I also love that show for that reason. What the hell is going on? Hey! Okay, I'm taking this off the... Every time I try to do a relaxing activity, something happens.
Though this new chapter in my life is still unfamiliar, I have no doubt that what's meant for me will find me in its own time, so long as I continue to work on myself, stay true to my values, and trust the process. I'll do my part the best that I can in still keeping myself open without allowing fear to close me off from what's possible. Besides, knowing how nature works, it always fills the space we make for it. So until then, hanging out with me is more than okay.